Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots, and hello, my Somalian friends. I'm a useful idiot, and today I want to talk about Somalia because now the secret little war that the U.S. has been involved in Somalia has now been made public, and the U.S. officials have stated that the U.S. has been operating in Somalia since 2007, so they're acknowledging 7 years, but it's actually been longer than that. And Washington plans to deepen its security assistance, is how they put it, and have stated that we have 120 combat troops in Somalia. And I did a video about this back in January, and I'll attach that below. And the state of operations at that point was 25 U.S. troops, but also a huge CIA compound in the middle of Mogadishu. And that's been there since 2011. And they also have a unknown number of private contractors and or mercenaries there. And they've also had continuous drone strikes we don't really hear much about. Those are carried out from Ethiopia. And there's also been airstrikes. And this is all stuff I covered in the previous video, and along with a fair amount of history about U.S. involvement there. But let's get back to today's story. So there's 6,000 Somali in the Somali army. They've been heavily armed by the United States for quite a number of years, but more importantly, there's a large contingent of African Union forces that have been operating there for quite some years now, 22,000 troops in total. So 22,000 Somali troops and then U.S. troops for training, but U.S. troops have actually been involved in actual combat as well. There was a offensive in 2010, I believe, and U.S. troops were acknowledged that they were involved in the offensive, actually in the combat, which is interesting because now we have the story coming out now that, quote, from a U.S. official, quote, the U.S. troops there now are not involved in combat, unquote. So that's the reason why you know that they are involved in combat. And so, like I say, CIA's there, mercenaries are there. There's even EU troops there involved in training as well. No surprise. So there's been a full-blown war going on there for a while, and it's all against yet another Islamic Al-Qaeda associated militant group, Al-Shabaab. And everyone's familiar with the 1993 incident. So to put this into context, 1993 is when the supposed U.S. humanitarian operation with the famous immortalized in the film Black Hawk Down. Not so good recollection for the United States, and one of the reasons why they've played down our involvement there since. But the fact that they're publicly acknowledging it now means that the training will increase, the funds will increase, and there'll be more military engagement, which means more U.S. troops will be on the way. 120 doesn't sound like many now, but like they say, when they're augmented by who knows how many mercenaries, there could easily be, and EU forces, there could easily be a couple thousand. And one U.S. official also said that, quote, what you'll see with this new fiscal year is the beginning of engagement with the Al-Shabaab proper, unquote. So we are going to see an increased U.S. presence. New fiscal year will be in the fall. So in the fall, we will have an expanded war in Somalia. And the only reason like I say, they admit it is because they're getting you ready for what's going to be a more high-profile United States military engagement in Somalia. And just like a lot of these other conflicts, the underlying narrative is the fact that a lot of energy companies have existing contracts, and they want to reclaim their facilities, their sites, and their wells, and their contracts. And that's what it's about, yet again. I'm a useful idiot. Don't you be one too.